Guys, this is Scribbly again with another pen review, and today we're going to have a look at the Pilot Capless, aka Vanishing Point. Now, I've shot a video of that pen a couple of months ago. I think it was the blue version, but I had that pen borrowed from somebody else. It was not mine, and after a little use, I found myself, being a left-hander, having some problems with the grip with that clip, because I was always grabbing onto the clip. But yeah, I then returned that pen. I saw it over and over again, and of course it's an omnipresent pen. So I was just thinking, hey, maybe I should really give that pen another chance, another try, but this time try it for a little longer. Not only borrow it and then have it for having to return it pretty soon and have it for a couple of days or something like that, but really try it a little longer. So I'm really grateful to Paul's Paper and Pens in the UK. Website is here, for sending me this model here, this matte black model, for a review, so that I can actually have a look at that pen for an extended period of time, trying it a little bit longer. And I really gotta say that after trying a little bit longer, it's still not perfect for my lefty grip. A clipless grip still works better for me, but I really got used to it in the meanwhile, and I really came to like the pen. But let's cover that in a minute. Let's have a look at the packaging quickly first. I'm gonna do that a bit faster because, as I said, I've already covered a capless in another video, so there's no point to go too much in depth here. The package flings open like that. The pen then comes in a plastic wrapper. I got the one here in a medium. Comes with a converter as well. I have a cartridge installed that I refilled with a syringe because I find the ink capacity of that converter so small. So I really prefer a cartridge because it just carries or contains more ink. And then you have a cartridge that comes with the pen. I had another empty Pilot cartridge that I refilled, but you already see that the pen sits, the converter sits in the pen like that. So that's actually the ink capacity that you have is fairly small. If you compare it to the ink cartridge, you see that it's double or probably more the amount of ink that you get. And then it comes with a warranty card in here and a couple of filling instructions. What's interesting in the filling instructions here is that it really shows you how the capless works. Of course, it's a retractable fountain pen. That's why it's called capless, right? Has no cap. So it essentially works like a ballpoint. And that is also why you have the clip up here where the writing tip is, because if you put the pen into your shirt pocket, you want to carry it nib up, not nib down. That's why you have to have the clip up here and why it may get into the way with your grip. You then click behind here. That click mechanism presses onto the inserted cartridge or converter that you see in here and does then push the nib forward. First of all, it does slide down this shutter head thing here, which prevents the nib from dirt and dust and drying out. That thing is going to slide down and the writing tip will then just be exposed and you're able to write. You know, see, click and tip comes out, and yeah, you reassemble the pen by unscrewing it here. And you can either fill it with a converter, with the converter in an inkwell, when of course you dip the whole mechanism in, or you just put a cartridge in there. Let's put all that stuff away and have a look at that pen here, as set in the matte black finish, which I find really, really cool, because it really is a, yeah, it's a really cool understated pen, nice finish. The whole pen is in that matte black finish. The only thing that's a little bit glossy here is that it's not really a center band. It's actually where you unscrew the pen. I'm showing you that in a minute. Then you have Pilot Japan on here in a grayish color. Very nice pen size. The pen, I mean, I find the design of the pen is really cool, which is why I really wanted to have another look at the pen. The girth of the pen for me is really perfect. It's really a nice size to hold. This matte finish is really nice because it makes the pen completely not slippery, which is also very fun to hold. I found that with that matte blue pen that I've already reviewed a while ago. So that's really nice. And then back here you have that click mechanism that is also matte black. It's just a really beautiful subtle pen design, and especially that matte black finish is really cool. Makes it a really cool stealth pen. Now the pen, that's how you, by the way, extend the tip, of course, right? Does have the rhodium plated 18 karat gold nib. There are also, I think, are they ruthenium plated or whatever, like black nibs available. That would now make it a complete stealth pen. That would be even cooler. But of course the rhodium plated nib looks also really good. Has a good amount of tipping on here for a medium nib, I gotta say. That's really one blob of tipping material on here. And I find that medium to write really true to the size medium. That's for a Japanese pen, that's a really wide medium. Breather hole, nib slit, pilot feet down here, and then a small cutout down here. So I assume that is for your writing angle, not to get into the way with your writing angle. Then of course you have that clip here, which works very nicely. And yeah, as said in the beginning, I always had a problem, or not in the beginning, with that other pen that I didn't have for a long time. I often had a little bit of a problem with my grip because my finger always tended to slip up here, and that got uncomfortable with writing after a while. But now that I had this pen really for a good couple of weeks, I sort of started to get attentive to my grip with that pen. So I actually do hold it like this, right? I have my index finger here on the side of the clip, and it now does work fairly well. I have to say, I had to be attentive to that asset. I had to remind myself of not coming up here with my finger, but I do normally use that pen as a shirt pocket pen or as a note taker. So I normally don't write a lot with that pen. Like I don't write a whole A4 page or something like that with that pen. I normally use it as a note taker, which then makes it even more so perfectly usable for me. You unscrew the pen like this, out comes the inner workings or organs of the pen. You do see the nib here saying Pilot 18K 750, M for medium. What does it say here? 716, meaning that that nib or that pen here has been manufactured in July 2016. There's something very tiny on here that I can't actually read. Feet down there, then you have this cap here that you slide onto the cartridge so that the clicking mechanism does not actually work on the plastic here all the time, but on the metal, protects it a little bit. You could also slip the converter in here. That pen here is now filled with, I think it's KWZ Old Gold, which is a nice color. It's around Christmas time here. That fits the time of the year also very well. Yeah, and then you slide that thing back on. That's how it goes back into the pen. And, whoops, there's a small knob here that makes sure that that thing here goes in the right way. No, what happens? Now. Pen reassembled and ready to write. Before we do a writing sample, quick size comparison to my standard size reference pen, Lamy Safari. And I think it's pretty safe to say that they're both exactly the same length. And once made ready for writing, uncapped or tip exposed, the capless is a tad longer than the Lamy Safari. Writing sample is coming up right now here. And as said, you see now when I grab the pen, it already happens automatically that my index finger slides here onto the side. Nipped right up a little bit in the course of the review. That normally doesn't really happen. That nib exposure shutter head thingy does really do a a great job in keeping the nib from drying out. That was now because the pen was exposed for a long time in the course of the review. Let me see if I can show you that shutter mechanism here. Now you see that head coming down here. The lighting is not all that good here at the moment. Yeah, but you can see it right here how that works, and then the writing tip actually does come out. Pilot capless. This is the matte black finish. And we are having the medium nib on here, and I do find that is a pretty true to the size medium nib. Rhodia paper always makes the line run a little bit on the finer side than it normally would if you would use more absorbent paper where the writing line feathers a little bit out a little bit more. It's a fairly wet writing pen, and Kavitz said Old Gold is also a fairly wet ink. So if you would use a drier ink in that pen, you will get the line a little bit narrower. So as said, after now having had a chance of trying that pen for an extended period of time and having had time to adjust my grip to the clip, I gotta say that I have to revise my initial judgment of that pen a little bit. It does really work, you can really get used to it, and I'm glad that I had the chance to try that pen out for a little longer. Thanks to Paul's Paper and Pens for giving me that opportunity. I hope that review was useful to you, especially to my fellow lefties. I can only encourage you to really try that pen and really give it a shot for a couple of days, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Take your time to get used to that pen. If you can adjust your grip to that pen, maybe try it on a Lamy Safari first. If you really also tend to hold your pen like that, or if your finger tends to come up like that, maybe try to practice a little bit. If you could get around that clip here, sorry, like that way, right? If you can, it's a fantastic pen, I gotta say. I hope the review was useful to you, and I'll see you at the next review. Bye bye.